everybody. Welcome to the show. Yay.
Yay.
It's lovely to have you all here at Sisters of the Mystical Tarot. And I want to introduce you, if you don't know, my wonderful sisters. We have beautiful Marina here, beautiful Val there, and lovely, beautiful Sherry there. So there you go. Thank you. And please like and subscribe if you're not already members or not members. Well, you can be members too. Subscribers. Yeah. Send money. A couple million would be really good. And, you know,
Yeah,
we
totally.
don't turn anything away.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm just being silly, but I'm really happy to have all of you here today. And today's topic is embracing the shadow. What lurks in the minds of men, only the shadow knows. So,
Only the shadow.
or
knows.
women.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Sometimes more appropriately applied to women than men. They're a little
Absolutely.
more transparent. We're not.
Sometimes.
No, sometimes.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. But I want to say hi to a few folks that are here early. And
Yes.
so we have Edward here. Nice to see you, Edward, and Karen and Laura Hammond Davis and Lauren Hunsinger, Mary Epperson, Denise Fletcher, and Divine Universe, Play Love Remember. Thank you for being here, everybody. Yeah, it's so lovely to have you. And I know we'll probably have some more folks stepping in.
Yes.
How's the weather in where you are? How's your weather doing? You getting any sunshine?
Yes. Finally. This is
Good.
day 3. 3 of sunshine.
Oh, good.
I'm
Yeah.
thrilled. I'm thrilled. Even the dog is thrilled. She goes in the backyard and just lays down.
So the order came through for the king because he showed up in Canada. So I guess the gods shined down on him yesterday.
Must be
Yes,
true.
they did. And he gave an
Remarkable.
amazing speech.
That's what I heard.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so good. That's so good.
Very, very proud
Of course, it didn't stop somebody else from saying today that, well, we're going to let you guys have the Iron Dome if you become the 51st state. Otherwise, no,
You can't do it without us.
Yep. That's right.
I love the fact that King Charles was able to place all the barbs and the knives in just the right spot and
Yes.
never said his name once.
Never once.
It just
No, it's fabulous.
a beautiful, beautiful speech. It really
Uh-huh.
was. I was very impressed.
That's good. That's great. I
I
love
think
hearing
in
that.
some ways that kind of thing is aimed at the U.S. and that kind of thing, authoritarianism kind of thing. Just to say what they're saying, and it can be blanket, put it out.
Yes. Yeah.
I know it
Well,
was
that's
around him.
The
Sorry,
British
go ahead,
have
go
a
ahead.
way of putting things that eviscerates
Classy.
you, and it's 2 days
Classy.
later before you realize it.
Yeah, and
So-
I didn't get to listen to it, but I can just feel the energy of it.
Yeah.
It's meant to, it
Yeah,
really
no, I
says
haven't
it.
either, and I just knew it'd be fine.
It
It's
says
just
it
like
without saying it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He kind
that's right.
of ended it, or at least the one part of it, by saying, Canada, the true north, strong and free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's kind of
Or as
that-
Arthur says, in the attic over the crack house. Right.
That
Good
too.
one.
That
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yep. Hi, Julianne. It's nice to see you. And artist Liz is here. And Jay, Melissa's here. Barbara's here. Rossi. It's 87 in Northern California and 101 on Friday, Edward. Oh, wow. I hope you've got some good air conditioning, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hot.
Well, we've been in the
side of it.
80s and 90s, except when it's raining, which has been pretty much nonstop for several days. So kind
Oh,
of tired of the liquid sunshine. I mean, we needed some rain, but
Yeah,
like,
you do. Yeah.
it's like somebody turned the faucet on and forgot to turn it back off.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Hi, Mousy. Nice to see you. Melissa, I think a lot of us are thinking, June, July. something like that. Yeah, but
Mhm.
we thought April, so
Yeah,
it's all up in the air. But anyway, hi, Divine Universe. So before we start to discuss the topic, which is I love the topic, even though it's not the most cheerful topic for a lot of people going through it. I just want to make sure that everybody is. If you've got something coming up, tell us. Marina, you got something coming up? Oh, tomorrow.
I do.
Yes.
Tomorrow
Mhm.
at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Please
Mhm.
join me on my channel. I am going to have the amazing Trish James, the creator of the Predictions Oracle, Investigations Oracle, Stardust. I mean,
Yeah.
this woman is
Her brand new deck just came out.
when she does the readings with her decks, they are extremely informative.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it's like they tell a story.
Mhm.
So yes, I ordered from the one that I had. I ordered 2 additional ones last week, and then earlier this week I ordered 2 more. Anyway,
A small fortune to get them all, but
Small
they'll be worth.
Yeah,
They'll be worth it. Yeah.
exactly. But
Yeah.
Linda G texted me this morning and said, "Look what came in the mail." It was a picture of the new government or
governance. Yes.
Governance one.
governance deck.
I think
Yeah.
I got
Like,
that one, and I got
jealous
another
of
one
you.
that's like personal or something like that.
Yes.
That's coming.
Yeah, there's a personal one. There's the 2 political world event type ones, and then there's the investigative one,
Yeah.
and then there's a couple of more. I don't remember the names.
What I like though, and I think Marina brought this up the other night, is that that you can use them, really all of them, for you don't need to use
for
Just
anything.
about anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And I think it's her, I believe it's the Stardust deck that has got the Oracle on the one side and the Tarot on the other.
Oh.
So
I haven't
depending
seen
on
that.
how they come out, you can have a combination of both. So I can't wait to get the other ones. But I'm
Absolutely. Yeah.
thrilled to have her on, and
Good time.
Val is going to join me.
I am.
So
What
she's gonna
time?
ask the question.
It's like Christmas.
9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
So yeah, 8 o'clock Pacific, and then 6 o'clock for you. No, yeah, 6
No, that would
o'clock.
be 9 o'clock for Marina. That'd be 10 o'clock for me.
Oh, that's right. It's the other way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
I'll
a
be
little
staying up. Don't worry.
Yeah.
a little later than normal, but she's 16 hours ahead.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
She's
So,
in
you know,
Australia. Yeah.
Trying
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to have her.
It's exciting
Absolutely.
for sure.
That's awesome.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Val, I know you're going to be on with her, and you're going to do light workers tomorrow before that.
We
Yes.
are before that, and just want to let everyone know that somebody's
My
singing.
brother. Sorry.
So coming up, just to let everyone know, we're having channeling class starting on the 7th. If you want to sign up for channeling class at dragonflycrystals.store. And Val and Arthur Zoom. It's only 10 participants. There's still a few slots where you actually get 10 full minutes of every question you ever wanted to ask, channeled through and answered by both Arthur and I. And you can sign up for that on dragonflycrystals.store. And don't forget the manifesting class with Gerald. Sign up for that, because that's definitely an
I
amazing
tried
class.
to sign up for that class with you and Arthur, and it said it was full.
Oh, you
that
tried
was
to
a while
sign up?
ago. Yeah, that was a while ago.
It's not full.
Okay.
Send Val an email. She knows people.
She knows people.
She can make it
All right.
happen.
It's
All right.
not
Okay.
full.
Her people will talk
Okay.
to your people and get you all set up. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just
Okay.
going to try it now. Now I'm wondering.
No,
Yeah,
That was a while
because-
ago, Val. It wasn't like this week. It was a while ago. Maybe you hadn't had it completely set up or something. I don't know, but it's good to know.
It's good
All
to
right.
know, because if it is, then,
Yeah.
uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
All right. So Sherry, you have to put your what's going on with you, girl?
Well, after the show here, I have just enough time to go potty, and then I'm doing draining the swamp because Mel was not
Oh,
quite up
right.
to snuff, as he put it, Monday night. So we postponed it to tonight, and then tomorrow night I'll be backstage for Arthur, who's doing a solo show.
Mhm.
Friday night, Ramon Moonscarab and Hershey and Amy and me, he's throwing a Gemini birthday bash
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
on his channel. So that's at 7 p.m. Central. I don't know who's there. I don't know who's been invited. I just know he was like, "Can you come?" And I said, "Yes, I'll be there." So
Absolutely. Yeah. Perfect.
Well, I hope he has enough seats because you all have to bring your twins with you.
Yes.
I'm telling you, yeah, it's going to get crowded in there.
And get
Um,
very
yes.
yeah.
And then Saturday, I'm having my first Zoom members meeting. Now that I have Zoom, I can finally get all my people together and have a big meeting.
Good.
And Sunday, I'm going to be doing a live with Dr. Ann. Sunday
good.
night.
That's
Very good.
wonderful. Glad to
I-
hear that. Yeah.
I just want to interject here to make sure you all know you can sign up for the class. And when you go to book that class, you have to click next available, because you have to be, it'll put you on the date of the class of the.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
And
Okay.
if you just sit there and look at it, it's you're not on the date that we're having the event. Then once you click next availability, it'll show you 3:30, and then
Okay.
click next, and it'll.
It'll move you on to where you should be. That's probably what the problem was. It was my,
Okay.
all right.
But
Well,
it
I'm
is a
glad you-
little- it's
To finish
confusing.
out my week, next Tuesday's my birthday. So
Oh, okay.
I'll be 64.
Geminis, that's right. Wow.
I've been having the Beatles song running in my head for a week now.
Uh-huh. All right.
Oh, lovely.
That's great. That's great. Welcome to anybody that I missed. And thank you, ladies. I'm going to be on with Scott Scorpio Sun tonight at 5:30. So it's a little bit after the show. And got some busy stuff, including Marina and I are on tomorrow night on Storing the Cards. So have to come over and see us. We love to be snarky, don't we, Marina? Yeah.
Yes, we do. Yeah. But we do it with all the love in our hearts.
Absolutely. Hit a pat, right? Hit a pat. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit before we start, and then I want my sisters to, add to the conversation. And anybody want to talk about it in the chat, I'd love it, really. So it was my turn, and I thought, well, I was thinking about doing this as a sort of a short 8 to 10 minute video. And I said, no, I think I'd like to have the conversation. I think the conversation is more fun. And I remember a couple of years ago, I guess, I did a series on the shadow. And I really feel like it's an important topic, and it's one that we tend to be fearful of, because who wants to look at the dark stuff in our lives? Not, things we don't like about ourselves. And so a lot of people refuse to even take a look at it. Bradshaw, his name was Bradshaw. He was a doctor back in the 90s. He wrote a couple of books about shadow and inner child work and things like that. And I think I've mentioned this before on the show, but I read it. I thought it was really good. But there's after the first chapter, just before you get to the end, it says, if you're ready to move forward and do the work, then you can turn the page. But if you're not, then you might not want to turn the page. Well, my friend still hasn't turned the page because she was so afraid of what she would encounter. And that's not an abnormal reaction, actually. I think we all who wants to look at the downside, but there can be tremendous growth.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Allie. Tremendous growth is from it. And it really is a gift. It's a gift to us.
It's a gift
It's
to
our
ourselves.
gift for us to see what
Mhm.
inside of us we need to bring more to the light or in the light
Mhm. Yeah.
and enlighten it.
Enlighten it. Right. Right. So yeah, and sometimes we're even held back by crippling fear that what if somebody finds out that
Yeah.
and what if they do?
I,
I guess if you murdered somebody, that
Being
wouldn't be so hard. But
being this age, it's hard to get, I don't care what anybody thinks.
I know.
So
I know you. I know
it's
you
hard to work up that kind of feeling about it.
Yeah.
I think age has something to do with it too. It's like the older
It's
you
age.
get, the less you care if
The
people
less
know
you
what
care.
you did in your past. It's like,
No, I agree
Yes.
with you.
I'm still here, so it must not have been that bad.
Exactly. You get a different perspective as you age, and
Yeah.
you
Oh,
get
yeah.
into this age group. Then you finally go, hey, this is who I am. This is how I show up. And this is how I rock and roll, baby. And
I
this is-
know. I know. A lot of people could say that failure at marriage would be a real shadow thing, and
I don't
failure
think it's
at
failure.
three
It's not
marriages.
failure.
It's not
I-
failure. It's all growth. But
You
you
had
know,
a
if you tell
relationship.
somebody that you've been
Yeah.
divorced 3 times,
Yeah.
and
I
your
mean,
kids are from 2 different fathers, or whatever it is, there's and it shouldn't matter.
no, it
But
doesn't.
that can be somebody's shadow. That
Yeah,
can be
that-
somebody's shadow.
The feeling of not being able to do something right, or that you can't ever have a relationship that actually harmonizes, would be the fear part. The fear.
Sure.
All shadow is fear.
Yes.
Mhm.
Basically, you can
It is.
boil it.
Yeah.
You can
Oh, yeah.
boil it right down to that, right?
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah. And you're right, Juanita. They might think, "What's wrong with you?" Yeah, because my mother took it. I think I said this before. All 3 of my children got divorced. What did I do wrong? Well, that's not her shadow to take.
Yeah.
That's not her shadow. That's
Yeah.
other people's shadow. But back
is.
then
It is her shadow. It's the ego
It's
of
you're right.
the ego that she thinks she's going to live
Uh-huh.
your journey and live your life for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you want to call that, but
Right.
it's over. It's,
Helicopter parenting.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I remember though that saying to myself, "What's that got to do with you? It hasn't anything
Yes.
to do with
Yeah.
you."
You're not the one that's going through it.
She thinks she didn't do it right. I
Yeah.
can't do it
She
right.
did.
I don't
She
do
did,
it
and every time I got pregnant, she would say, "Oh no."
Okay. That's her shadow stuff. And she's-
Yeah.
I think it was that she didn't particularly care for the men that were the fathers of my children, and that really was the only thing. That was her going, "Oh dear,"
Yeah.
And she was right. I will say she was right. I mean, I love my children, but I didn't have very good experiences from that.
You aren't the only one. So
No, I know.
no,
I know.
that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Denise, my inner child keeps you young. I look at my shadow and it starts laughing at you.
Yeah.
As being married, I was for 24 years, just took 3 men. Yep. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
It is true. So it says the fear of failure is a huge one, and the fear of that we might not be good enough or that our efforts won't pay off. So I've brought this up before, but I would say that if I was looking at my shadow, I already know I have this issue.
Yeah.
When I
Yes.
get behind the wheel, I am a pissed off person. I am. If somebody's on my tail, I'm mad. Somebody in front of me the light changes and they're picking their nose and checking their hair and all that shit. I'm like, beep, beep. But
Get
here
off the
in
damn
Washington
phone.
State,
That's what I'm always saying.
They're always
They're on their
texting. They're looking down, texting, and they're the first one in the row, and nobody can go because they won't look up.
Yeah.
And in Washington State, it's against the law to toot your horn at somebody like that. In Massachusetts, horns always being blown. It's no
I
big
mean,
deal. But out here,
Yeah.
you can get in trouble for that. You can't.
Yeah.
Oh, I never
But
knew.
I just,
That
I'm
wouldn't
like,
work down here. Everybody'd
Yeah.
be in jail.
everybody, oh
Yeah.
my God. But I
Yeah.
remember my kids, like, they didn't want to drive with me anywhere. And I took my nephew somewhere. And apparently he went home and told his mother, oh, what was yelling and shit in the car, you know, and she wouldn't let me take him anywhere after that. I know that's my shadow. I don't like that part of myself. And I certainly, you know, so I'm really being quite open here about it because it's not really a pleasant thing to be. It's like being an angry person, you know?
Yeah.
But,
But you know, here's the thing about the shadow.
uh-huh.
We don't want to dislike our shadow. That's disliking us. We want to bring our shadow in and embrace it and know, oh, look at that part of me and bring it in because, and don't feel bad or funny about whatever these things are because they really are there for us to recognize and to embrace and love. Say they're the inner child part of yourself that didn't get enough attention, didn't get, you know, whatever. You learn these things about patience and not having patience and every single thing you could imagine, all the parts and pieces of yourself that you feel didn't get enough love or attention or whatever. Yeah, that's what it all is. I mean, you can boil it right down. Yeah.
I do. I love that. That's wonderful.
I think the biggest thing I faced when I looked at my shadow closely was I've always felt inadequate. Like I was out of place. I don't really belong there. They're just letting me in.
I think so many of the light workers, yes. You don't realize how many light workers feel that way. You know, they feel like they're out of place. I was born here. I
spent most of my life with very low self-esteem. It took a long time for me to get past a lot of crap from my childhood and say, no, damn it, I am worthy of who I am. But I still have those moments, you know, when you feel really inadequate or very out of your element or like I'm the dumbest one in the room and you're not, you're just the only one to admit it.
Well, you know, the thing is that we're told sometimes things like that. And those messages
we repeat it to ourselves, right? Yeah, you keep repeating it.
My grandmother was always, she always had criticisms for us, never praise. I mean, you could bust your butt doing stuff for her all day long, and she would walk in the room and she'd pick out the one thing you missed.
Yes.
Instead of all the 24 things you did get done, you know, things like that. I'm grateful.
So you never could do anything right.
Yeah.
Right, Sherry? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Hence why I called her the name I called her and then ran for my life when I was 15.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big witch, but with a B. And that's what I hollered in her face when I was 15. I never ran so fast in my life. If she'd caught me, she'd killed me. I'm telling you right now. I have no doubt. But I got up those stairs in my room and the dresser shoved in front of the door so she couldn't get in. And then I waited for my grandfather to get home because I knew he'd protect me.
Oh, wow. Wow. Those are things you remember for sure. For sure. But you know, I just want to share this one thing because I think this, we know what shadow is. We know what it's, when we feel
things
jealous,
we don't want to look at about ourselves.
when we feel irritated, that's all our shadow. The ego mind tells us what our shadow is, basically. The shadow isn't necessarily things we don't want to look at. We look at them all the time because it's telling us, oh. So, I mean, you're always looking at your shadow because it's always talking to you. So basically, the important thing is to remember, I think, is, you know, we came here in this earth school with all these polarities and all these contrasts and all this stuff. Well, the shadow is just a mirror through which we recognize the distortions and choose to return to love again and again. So that's why we have these experiences. But, you know, we didn't come to earth to escape the darkness. We came to transform it through our conscious embodiment. So the shadow gives us a chance to awaken from illusion, develop compassion for ourselves and others, cultivate resilience and courage, reclaim our soul fragments, and restore wholeness. So, what are those soul fragments, those parts of ourselves that we're not embracing? That's what we've been talking about. That you didn't give enough attention, that didn't get enough love. Remember that we are divine light, even in the darkness. We descend into duality, not to be lost in it, but to become alchemists, turning every shadow into light, every wound into wisdom. And this one last thing I want to leave you with is a sacred truth. You are not broken because you have a shadow. You are brilliant because you choose to walk in the darkness with the knowing that you would one day illuminate it. Not eliminate it, illuminate it.
Beautiful.
Would you be, I think that kind of says it all without going through every single thing. We all know what the shadow is, and that it is that ego mind telling us things. That's it. We live with it. It's an everyday thing. You can't not look at it. It is there.
It's there. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. And going along with what you said about broken parts, I love that, because I remember that saying that you're not broken. That's where the light comes in.
That's it. You've got to stop looking at yourself as something that needs to be fixed, something that isn't whole. You're already whole. There isn't anything that needs to be fixed. It's just simply those shadow sides of yourself are just places to embrace more of yourself and bring in the light. And, does the shadow ever leave us? No. And it's not the goal of being here. The goal of being here is that contrast. And what gives us that contrast? That ego mind giving us the other side of it, right? There it is, all in a nutshell.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And the shadow side is not something. I understand that people fear it. And I think maybe the first time that you go take a look at your shadow self, you don't know what to expect. So it does feel a little scary. But once you do, you realize that it's a gateway. It's a gateway for you to examine what you believe and why you believe it.
Yeah.
So that you can go back then and say, oh, okay, I didn't have an opportunity to have a typical childhood, because as the oldest child, I was left to look after my sisters most of the time. So I didn't have a chance to do a lot of the things that maybe some of the other kids did, because I had responsibilities that were over and above what my age at that time. But then that helps to explain why you act the way you do sometimes, why you say the things you say sometimes. And when you can identify it, you can choose to change it. You can choose something different. So, shadow work is never, it's not one of my favorite activities, but I've learned not to let it scare me. It's like, okay, all right, I've been triggered. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look at why. Yeah.
That's the hard part, is not being afraid to look. I mean, when I first went into this community and I heard people talking about doing shadow work, and I didn't know what that meant. I just didn't know. And when it was explained to me, I tried to do some of it, and it was just like, I wasn't ready, and so I had to back out of doing that and then wait a while before I went back in and tried it again. So, I mean, it's like, if you try to start doing that now and it's too overwhelming, or it's just issues that you just can't deal with at the moment, then back off from it. You're not on a
timeline,
a hamster wheel and a timeline and running a race. You don't have to do this XYZ by a certain time or day. It's something that, you can work on it a little bit every day without it being too traumatic. It's just a matter of being willing to look at yourself and just accept yourself for who you are.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, Sherry. Why is it hard, and what's the fear? to look at
Well,
yourself.
it
You're
was
just
hard
like-
for me because
you're
I
just
had no self-esteem growing up,
Yeah.
none. And a lot of that was family related, not from my mom, but from other family members.
Yeah.
And it just, I didn't even realize it had affected me to the depth that it had
Mhm.
until I started looking at myself the first time on shadow work. And it was too much, too overwhelming. And I couldn't deal with it at
But
that
what
time.
what overwhelmed you?
I think it was the anger I felt that
Ah,
I
Oh,
was
that would make
treated,
sense. Okay,
that
I
I
can
was
understand
treated
that.
like a second
Right,
class
right.
citizen
Because you
as
guys,
compared to
that's-
other cousins my age. I
that's
was
it.
like the odd man out.
That's what I wanted to get
And
to the kernel of.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it took I didn't know why I was treated that way
Right.
until I was probably up in my 20s.
Yeah.
it made
I
you
mean,
uncomfortable to
off
think
the
that
wall
that happened.
comment.
Is that what it
My
was too?
mother said, well, you know why they
You
treated me.
you
She-
resent and hold anger because you think people did
Yeah.
something to you, is the feeling that we all go through when we
Mhm.
go
Right.
through that shadow side. And that's what can feel overwhelming.
Yes.
How
Yeah.
dare they? And so the part that is a huge thing.
Yeah, because I spent
feeling.
most of my childhood growing up thinking, well,
Yeah.
what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Why am I not good enough? I couldn't
Yeah.
figure that out. Now,
Yeah.
I was in my 20s when my mother, because of just an off the cuff comment I made, and my mom just kind of looked at me and she says, well, you know why they treated you that way? And I said, no. And she told me. And it made sense. It
Yeah.
made me angry. And then
Yeah.
it made me sad.
Mhm.
And then I kind of just shut it down. It was like I didn't want to deal with it. And up until I decided to do some shadow work, and it was just all of that came out at once, and it was just too
Mhm.
much. It was too
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Oh, now
And I
that all makes
literally had to
sense.
back off and walk away
Yeah.
from it and be like, I
So-
can't deal with this now.
So Sherry, actually, it wasn't your shadow. It was their
Somebody.
shadow and how
It was
you
their
felt,
shadow
how it
that had,
affected you.
yeah,
No, it's your
that had
shadow.
subjugated my shadow to the point that I couldn't
Yeah,
get.
it's her shadow that she.
Right, but these
was
other people were their shadow part affected her.
It doesn't matter about their shadows because Sherry's feeling how she's feeling and looking at herself from a place where, and all of us, not just Sherry, where we don't love ourselves enough.
Right.
And so that
Right.
inner, the answer to all of this shadow side stuff,
Mhm.
now that we got to the root of anger and resentment and all of that, we all have that when at those points, is to turn into yourself and love yourself. Give yourself that
As
love.
long as you know you can do that and you can do that,
Yes.
I think a
It
lot of
is-
people don't recognize that they can do
Yes.
something about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
For a long time, I had real difficulty handling a compliment.
Yeah.
If
Yes.
someone complimented me, oh, don't you look nice today? Or, oh, wow,
Yeah.
that was really cool what you did. Or,
You can't
you know,
take it in.
I love the paper you wrote. That was just so smart, and
Yeah.
and I just couldn't accept those positive affirmations.
That's a
to
woman
me.
thing too, honey. That was our
Because
generation.
that's very
Yeah.
true. But I would hear the family in my head telling me I wasn't good enough, and so it was,
Yep.
took a long time to get beyond that. But, and I still work on it. I mean, there are still times when it'll kind of pop up out of nowhere and rear its ugly head, and I have to just face it down and say, no, that's a
Yes.
lie. That's not true.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's
And
what
that's
you
the
do.
hardest.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing for me to learn to do, was that I could look at myself in the face and say, no, that's a lie. That's not
Exactly.
Yes.
who I am.
Mhm.
And so I don't
True.
accept that anymore.
Good for you. Good for
Yeah.
that's what we
But
need
it
to
takes
do.
time.
Pull
Yeah.
it out and look at it and say, wait a minute, this is BS.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Rip it up, throw it
Yeah.
out.
Wow. Wow.
Absolutely.
It's funny
And it's
because when I had somebody say to me, "Oh, I really love your shirt," my first reaction is, "I got it at Target at the time.
Yeah, for
Target.
$1.99. Yeah.
It was like $10.99," and they're like, "You're dismissing the fact that you don't have to tell anybody that." And I'm like, Why not? If they like it, why don't they go get it? It wasn't to me.
You didn't
To
take
me,
the
it was-
compliment in for you looking good in the
I
shirt.
do the
Right.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
Oh,
got
this I got it at
down on
Temu,
that.
or I got it at
They'd say-
Walmart, or
Yeah, they'd say, don't tell people that. My niece would say, don't tell people that, Aunt. They, just make them think it costs $35. And I
What's
said,
that
wow.
got to do with it anyway? But
I know.
but you,
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. I love that example, Allie, about the shirt and saying,
Mhm.
because who isn't guilty of that same thing? I mean, guilty is a wrong
Yeah.
word,
Yeah,
but I mean, who doesn't take in a compliment who takes in a compliment every single time?
Right.
I deflect a lot of compliments. I deflect them back or over to someone else. I mean, we
Yeah.
tend to do that.
Yeah.
And we,
Yeah.
We make
Yeah.
excuses for it, or we
Yeah.
need to somehow validate it. Like, oh yeah, that color looks wonderful on you. Oh, this, generally, yeah, I like darker colors.
I
It's
pulled
like-
it out of the back closet. I mean, I've had it years. Yeah.
Instead of just thank you.
Yeah.
That,
Oh, gee, no.
the first time that I did that, where
yeah.
someone gave me a compliment, and all I said was, "Thank you."
I mean,
Oh,
hello,
yeah, it's an
angels
amazing
are
thing
singing
the
from
first time you
heaven.
do that.
Yeah.
It's like a whole wall gets knocked down, and suddenly you're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
that's all I
Uh-huh.
had to say?
Yes,
It's
yes.
accepting
you.
it in. You're drinking it in and accepting it in. If you can just say
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, gee, thanks. Thank you so much. That's so nice of you.
Yes. Yeah. Just
I-
let
I'll do that.
me know.
I'll do that in the store. If somebody really, I don't make false flattery. If somebody's in front of me and they have a nice purse or their hair looks nice,
Yes.
whatever it is, tell them so.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think we need to do that with more
Yeah.
people and
Yeah.
say, even strangers, I
Absolutely.
think you really look nice today or whatever. Not that you don't ever look bad. Okay.
I had one of my faculty come through the office. What was it? Just a couple of weeks ago, and he was going somewhere for a special presentation. So he was all done up, 3-piece suit, tie. This is a person that always wears jeans and t-shirts, right?
Mhm.
And when I walked in the office and I saw him, I was like, wow. I said, don't you look nice? And of course, he turns 50 shades of red, and then he's like, oh yeah, no, he's making excuses for why he's running. I'm like, no, I said, you look nice. I
Take
said,
the
it must be
compliment.
something
Thank
special.
Yeah.
It's like, it must be something special for you to get all dressed up. I just want to let you know you look really sharp, so you're gonna knock them dead. And that's all I said, and
Uh-huh.
and I hope
love
that it
this.
maybe boosted his confidence just a little bit more for the presentation he was going to give,
Yeah.
because even those that have been doing it for a long time in the collegiate world, they still get really nervous when they've got to do presentations and
Yeah.
worried that they're going to forget slides or mix something up or say something wrong, and it's in front of all of their peers and their students. And, I always thought professors as being infallible because they knew it all. It wasn't until I look at Allie. No, it wasn't until I started working at a university that I realized they have the same hangups that I've got over stuff, and so
Maybe more.
Yeah.
They just pretend better. So, part of this is going along and pretending, act as if it were so. So you don't have confidence or you have low self-esteem and you feel like you can't accomplish anything because you're nothing. Stand up, look in the mirror and just smile at yourself. Tell yourself you're fantastic. I love you. I love you. I love you. And then go around your day and pretend like you have supreme confidence in everything you do.
Yep.
And act as if it were so. Those are the first steps.
Yeah. That's what they say about jobs. Yeah.
I put up a
exactly,
little-
Liz.
little
I have the
sign
same.
on
I get
my.
the same reaction.
I put up this little sign
Yeah.
in one of my bathroom mirrors, and it says, "Shut up, you look great."
There it is. You look
Every time I see it, it's like, "Yes, thank you,"
Right.
and
That's
that
right.
it's just a little bit.
That's
like-
exactly it. This is what I'm talking about. And that really is who's going to tell you, who's going to love you? Yourself, your inner self.
Don't care if anybody else does. It doesn't matter. Right.
I mean, it really is true.
Liz, you get embarrassed when people, I think introverts have a harder time because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you're recognizing me. And I just was trying to fit,
We're
you know,
trying to
blend
be,
in,
we're trying to hide. We're trying
hide
to
a
be
little bit.
hidden.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we don't really like that attention in that way necessarily.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is a
We
little
hug
hard.
the wall or we sit off in the corner or whatever, just
Yeah.
let everybody walk by and just, you might hi if somebody
Oh
waves
my
hi at
God,
you and
Lynn.
that's it.
I
But
love that. I love that, Lynn. You know what? I'm gonna, here it is. I got hair growing out of my face because I'm old. And I went outside and I used my magnifier to get rid of it.
Mhm.
And I turned to Keith and I said, listen, it's your job to tell me about this because I don't always see it.
Yeah.
And I said, please tell me. I want to know. I really want to know. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
partially
exactly
a
right.
shadow thing too. Don't
Yeah.
want people to see hair flying out of my face.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
I spent all day one day at work thinking, why is this hair in my mouth? And I kept feeling it and wiping it. And when I got home and I got my big magnifying mirror and looked, I had a big long hair like growing out the corner of my mouth. Went into my mouth.
Embarrassing
You know,
made you
and I was like,
embarrassed.
damn,
Yeah.
where did that come from? I had to pluck it to get it out right away. But that was a first for me. I'd never had one growing out the side of my
Yes.
mouth.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
It's a
And you
thing.
want to
Why didn't
confront
somebody
all the
tell
people
you?
that you ran into that day and say,
Yeah.
why did you not tell me?
Yes.
Like some
Imagine
friend.
that.
Really? Yeah. You
Yeah,
did a
You
really
had one
great
job.
lot of-
You had one job. That was
One
all.
Yes.
job.
Yes.
And you couldn't do it.
What the hell? Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh my God. Thank God we all.
Somebody
got
asked me a couple of
understanding.
weeks ago if I was worried that people would find out things that happened in my past because I'm online now and stuff. I said, in the beginning, that thought ran through my head, and then I thought, I'll just tell everybody from the beginning. That way, if something comes out, I've already told everybody about it. And they're like, oh, yeah, Sherry told us that. I said, because I'm an open book. I don't worry about it anymore,
No,
Yeah.
I am too,
Whatever.
Sherry. Always
Yeah.
have been. Always have been. My
Yeah.
mother would say, "Oh, don't air
Yeah,
your
yeah,
dirty
yeah.
linen in public." Oh my
I
God.
have
Yeah.
to say, and there are people on YouTube
Yes.
and not on YouTube who are very secretive like that, and they don't share. Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't.
they don't share
share.
stuff like that.
You
Yeah.
don't really know them because they don't really share. But I
Yeah.
have to say, those who are open and just spill it all out, they're pretty authentically with you. I
And the
you know,
people in the chat are the same way, really. That I've
Yes, and
seen
people
things
in the
written in
chat.
there that a lot of people would have gone.
Yeah,
But no, I
exactly.
just don't have any judgment over them.
Because
No,
everyone in this community, I've just really seen so many people accepting everyone as they show up. And I
Yeah,
think that's so
I agree.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally
And
agree.
Val has said in the past, your opinion of me, that's not my problem.
It isn't my problem. It isn't my problem.
It's not that, it's not that I don't care,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it doesn't affect me enough that I'm going to turtle into a little shell and go, oh my God, somebody doesn't like me. They said a bad thing about me.
It's
I'm not for everyone. I
It
get
doesn't,
it.
it doesn't
Okay.
affect me. Because you know what? Yeah, you're not for everyone. You're not here to please other people. This
No,
isn't
right.
what you're here for. You're a divine light shining it out. And you just got to keep shining your light out. That's what you're
Yes.
here to focus on. And that's somebody else's shadow side, like Allie was pointing out, showing you what is inside of them. If they're pointing out flaws and pointing out things they don't like, that's what they're showing their shadow side, what it is they're working on. So, yeah.
I love that. And I also love Linda. We gather here to stir the cauldron.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Oh,
Yes,
my
we do.
God.
And Denise
Yeah.
Fletcher says, you're not old until you have to go to your ribs to shave
Yeah.
your armpits.
Yes. Yes.
I can still distinctly remember the events when I will wash my hair when I'm in the shower. And this particular day, I had already showered. I needed to go somewhere in a hurry. I thought, oh crap, I didn't wash my hair this morning. I better wash my hair. So here I am over top of the bathtub, hair down with the little thing of a jigger going over and did all that.
Yeah.
When I bent down to, dry my hair, I noticed this part of my arm and it was wrinkly. And all I could think of was, when the hell did that happen? When did I turn into a lady?
Those are flags in the rumor.
Flap and literally fly. I mean,
They're flags.
Yes.
yeah, we all got it.
Oh, yes, totally. So,
Fun.
yeah.
Yeah, it
I
happens. ladies.
understand why Michelle Obama always wears sleeveless dresses because her arms
With
were
great
tight.
arms. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, if I had arms like that, I would never
She-
wear a sleeve.
She worked
for
out every
anything.
morning for those arms.
That's it.
Yes,
She
she
lifted
did.
weights for those arms. She didn't just get
Mhm.
those arms. Those arms
No,
came.
she
from-
worked those arms.
She
Yeah.
worked
It's
them.
like,
She worked
Yes.
them.
it's like if I
Yeah.
had arms like that, I would never wear a sleeve again.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Exactly.
I
And
just
you
have,
know, I'm at the point now that, hey, it's me.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Overthrow some flags, honestly.
Yeah.
That's
Your
right.
I mean,
flags are
honestly,
waving.
you're just going to be wear
it's like,
what you
look,
want
it's
to
bad
wear.
enough I could just wiggle my arm and get a breeze.
Yes,
So
totally.
I
it's like
just
having
want
a
to go,
built-in fan for the side of your body.
That's right.
I just
That's
want to go back to the original point, and that is how
Mhm.
to embrace the shadow. And so recognizing its presence without judgment, because this isn't going to do you any good. You don't want to do that. Your shadows often show up as projections, triggers, jealousy, shame, self-sabotage. And instead of pushing these feelings away, witness them as messengers and ask what part of me is asking to be seen right now.
Uh-huh.
Meet it with compassion, not condemnation. The shadow is not your enemy. It is often a younger or wounded aspect of you that developed a
Like it is.
survival mechanism.
Yeah.
Embracing it means offering it love and safety, saying, "You are welcome here. I will not abandon you again." So you're embracing and reintegrating all those pieces of yourself.
Mhm.
However
yeah.
you want to do it, whether you want to do things like EMDR and you're redoing your past and recreating it and bringing it in and feeling good about it, however that looks for you, however many ways you want to do that, you're bringing it into cohesion. You're
Yeah.
bringing it into alignment and into you, embracing it.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that, Val. That's wonderful. Linda had written earlier, and I kept it because I liked it. It really is hitting home for her, and it helps her understand herself more and to love the little girl in us,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
I think
And,
we've all been in
these-
that spot.
and these topics aren't always openly talked about because there's some taboo about it.
Well,
know?
yeah, it's not the most fun thing in the world, but we're with it every second. The ego thing telling us this, telling us that. That's all the shadow side. So I'm getting triggered here, getting triggered
Why
there.
do I want to look any deeper into it, for heaven's sake?
Yeah. So
And a lot of that is because we've been raised with the concept of don't talk about yourself.
yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Um,
Especially as women.
yeah, especially as women. Yeah, you do not draw attention to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Your job is to make other people feel comfortable, make sure that they have what they need, whatnot. You don't talk about yourself. People are going to think that you're self-centered, that you're
Self-centered, all these different
yeah.
words.
Negative
You know it
things.
all.
things.
Yeah.
And so we suppress that to the point that yes, they do become part of our shadow work, where we can say, wait a minute, I have a right to express what it is that I need to say.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me aggressive. It doesn't make me self-centered. I'm just expressing an opinion.
Yeah.
If you take it the wrong way, that's a you problem, not me.
That's
I know the intention that it is shared with.
Right.
Exactly.
And I don't have to amend my thinking or my view of myself based on somebody else, because then I'm not being true to me.
Yeah, you have
at
to
the
be your
end of the
authentic
day-
self and show up.
Yeah.
And if something's gnawing at you to say, you
Yes.
need to say it. If it's said from your heart that you need to share it, then you
Yes.
need to share it.
That's very true.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So here's a challenge for everybody. What
Ooh.
is the one fear that's holding you back, and what steps can you take to face it head on?
Oh, boy, that's profound.
Yeah. Yeah. And nobody else has to know if you don't, it's your personal challenge, it's your personal experience moving into it. It's you. And, you know, as much as some people like myself, open book, and Sherry, and, you know, all of us really, a lot of us are open books. You don't have to be an open book to work on yourself or to
Yeah.
challenge yourself to work through something, because it's just, that isn't part of what this is. It's
Yeah.
all just what you.
And you know, I have to say, for me, I'm living a very comfortable life. I'm retired. I want for nothing. And I'm very privileged that way. So I've only been soul prompted to do these things, like go on YouTube or do any of this.
Yeah.
And so when I have things that come up and I'm hearing, oh, do this, you know, you could do this, do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, and I know why they want me to do these things, but
Right.
I have actual resistance to stepping out of this circle of oh, well, I'm just so comfortable, and to step into another level of she's an introvert and she's stepping into another level of the pond. And so there is something for me in stepping into the even bigger pond, that really makes me go, oh, I can just sit back in my meditation chair and drink my chai tea instead.
Well, there is
Or I don't even say instead. This is what I do. It's called distraction, folks. When you find you're doing distractions, you are avoiding what you need to do. And
That's right.
I find, you know, I do puzzles. I find myself on YouTube listening to stories, and I'm like, oh man, I'm really in distraction mode. So
Well, we all do that too, Val. I mean, we can.
That would be where I'm at right now. That's what's happening. So
With
Oh,
me,
it's so easy because you think I'm gonna go sit outside or for 10 minutes and read a chapter in this book, or go play a game on the iPad, or you know, go catch a few minutes of the news, and before you know it, 2 hours have gone by and you've lost your whole
exactly, Sherry.
time frame if you're not careful.
Realize, these distractions can be day-long distractions. You flip to this and you get interested in that, but have you raised your head up and seen, oh, yeah, I just wasted half a day here. Did I get that thing done? Or have I moved toward that thing that I want to get done that's in the bigger purpose of what I'm here to do? Now I just told you my story.
There you go. There you go. So
Where I'm
here's
at.
mine. Here's mine. I have too many jobs. I have too much to do.
Oh,
And if I don't have them, nothing gets done. Nothing. I am not able to get anything done because I'm saying to myself, oh, I don't need to do anything. Okay.
that's me. See, there it is. Oh my God. I tap in. You know, I am just like you. I am on your choo-choo train too, because I find I could be vacuuming my house. I could be dusting.
Right. Right. So much fun. Oh my God.
I'm sure that you've heard me say that.
And I like it.
Yes,
I
that
like what
one
you
little
say.
thing about the reason that I don't dust and clean house is we come from dust and we return to dust when we die. I could be cleaning up somebody I know. So
oh my God, yes. Oh, that's my new mantra. Thank you.
Well, I got a lot of somebodies in my house then, because I'm telling you, we dust everywhere.
Yes. And yes, Suzanne, avoidance is a skill. Some of us work at it harder than others.
Yeah.
I have a fear that if I retire, I won't get anything done.
And I could
ask a
understand
busy
that.
person. Ask a busy person, and they will help you. And I do, because I have so much to do that I have to organize it. And then when I organize it, I get it done.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have all this other distraction, I think I'll watch some crime shows, you know,
because I have time, right?
Yeah. Totally.
I
don't
saw
have
my
any
doctor,
right
my
now,
pain
so-
management doctor yesterday. Now he's just a few years older than me, so we're always teasing each other about being old.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And I made a comment about, or he was looking at my chart. He says, "Oh, you got a birthday coming." And I said, "Yeah, I'll be 64." And he laughs. He says, "Oh, you're still a baby. Are you retired yet?" And I said, "No." He says, "Well, you could retire when you hit 64. You could go ahead and put into for it." And I'm like, "No." And he said,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, what's your plan?" And then I'm like, "Yeah, why are you asking me these questions?"
Yeah.
I said, "My plan is to hold out till I'm 70 so I get max retirement from Social
Yeah, there you go.
Security and
Yeah.
max retirement from my retirement account." I
Mhm.
said, "And then I'll probably enjoy it for a month and drop dead." So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he just laughs. He thinks it's hilarious. And we have some of the weirdest conversations, I swear to God. And
So today my doctor had said, oh, well, you're getting older and we give older people a dementia, a precursor test.
Yeah.
And she said, but because you teach all these classes and you do YouTube and all this, I don't really think you have too much of a memory problem. So you don't have to do it if you don't. I said, no, I want it done. I want it done, please. So the lady calls me to schedule it just a few, like an hour ago. She says, okay, well, I said, can I do it like over video or over the phone or something? She said, well, like, what's your purpose for having this done? Are you having memory issues? I said, oh, hell no. I work full time. I have a YouTube channel. She goes, oh, because she could see how old I was as well.
Yes.
And she goes,
Yes.
oh. It's so funny. People expect you get to an age and you just fall off a cliff.
I know they
Yeah.
don't. We're like, here we are,
Yeah.
all of us right here on Sister
Mhm.
are like the antithesis. We are not the usual normal. We're middle age. 70 is the
It's
new middle
nothing.
age.
True.
70 is the new
Nothing.
middle age. Everyone put that in your brain bank. 70
Or-
is the new middle age.
In the
And I
words
just saw
of George Burns, how old would you be if you didn't
You
know
didn't
how
know
old you
old
were?
are.
There it is. I
Yeah.
mean,
How
it's
old
really
would you be?
true. It's really
Yeah.
true. It's really true. How old would you be?
And I
you know
just
what?
saw something on a program the other day where it was like a group of doctors talking, different types of doctors for different things. And they were like, it's just around the corner. We're going to be living until 125, 150.
It really is.
And won't even think about it
You
because
won't
of
even think about it. That's why this is
Because
the new
air-
middle age. Yeah.
medicine and everything is so much better. And
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that only works if you can actually access that medicine and stuff. There's a lot of us not going to make it. But I started thinking about it. I thought, would I really want to live to 150? And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
well, I guess as long as I can still do things and
If you
still
can do
think,
things,
yes,
that's the
but
difference.
I have a
Yeah.
lot of things to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. If
Wow.
I had known life was going to be this good at this age when I was younger, I would have taken much better care of
That's
myself.
what my dad used
and
to say.
prepared for it much
I
better.
like,
Yeah.
I like what Denise says, Val, we think not by age, but by curiosity. And I'm endlessly curious.
Yes.
I am curious
That
about
really
everything.
keeps you young. It
I'm
does.
like the
Yeah.
Google queen because I got to look everything up. I can't stand not knowing certain things. And I get curious. I might go down a rabbit hole or two, but it
Yeah.
takes me to fun places that I have not looked at.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh yeah, I hear something, see something, somebody says something, and I'm like, okay, I know what that means, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what that means. Then I find myself, I'm down the
Yeah.
rabbit hole on Google
Yeah.
because
Hey,
not
I
only did
love
it mean
that.
what I thought it
I
meant,
do.
but there was all these other meanings that went with it too.
Uh-huh.
And I was like,
Well,
I
I
didn't
have students who will say to me, I don't understand what this means. And I'm like, hello, Google.
Well, yeah.
Do I have to
What
tell
are their
you?
fingers broken?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Google
know.
it.
He's like,
I know.
y'all got Google, you can find out anything.
It's a
in a matter of
verb.
seconds.
It's an action
No,
verb.
you have to
Yeah.
go to the
Yes.
library and check out a book and then look for the book and look through the book.
Linda Bishop says she she Googles during live chats.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, I have to, just before we end, I saw this short of this guy who was a professor, and he was addressing a bunch of high school kids, and they're all in Generation Alpha, which is 2010 or later they were born. And he brought out all this slang, and those kids were just on the floor laughing
I
because.
saw that show.
Did you
I
see
mean, I
that?
saw it. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I watched this guy. He's a linguist. The linguist guy, is that the
He's
one
a
you're
young
talking-
kid, though. That
Yeah,
guy's
he's
young.
at a
Yeah.
college, and
Yes.
he's a linguist, so he learns all the languages. So he learned the urban, the slang for that era. And these kids in the audience were like just freaking
Yeah.
out.
And I had to
He
look
did
up all the
whole thing.
words. Yeah, I
had
looked
to-
them
I-
up.
oh, you
Was
looked
was
them up.
groceries one of them?
No, I mean they had words. There were words like what? I mean they did
Yeah.
Google the
Yeah.
English translation
Yeah.
while you were watching. But this guy can go anywhere and he will learn the language. I
Yeah,
don't
I
care
love
if it's an African tribe and he,
Some
it-
people are just, it's like, it's just a gifted talent they have.
I
They
always
just
watch this
pick it
guy.
up.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
picked it right
Yeah.
up.
But don't
And
you
then-
think he's like in his 30s? He's not very old.
He's in
guy.
his 30s. He's very
Yeah.
young, and he's
Yeah.
married. Yeah, he's a nice little guy, and so yeah, it's quite fun to listen to him speak all these little languages
Oh, sure.
in like 2 or 3 days. And then he can speak fluently.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I was first teaching, I remember I knew the slang because my son was also the age of my students.
Yeah,
And so I would go in and say something in their slang, and they just think that was, I don't know. Some of them thought,
I
oh,
said something.
sound
I
good.
said something not that long ago.
Uh-huh.
Lewis was telling me about something and just off the cuff remark. And I said, oh yeah, he just slayed him. And he just stopped and he turned and he looked at me and says, what did you say?
Yeah.
It's just this
Something else
look he
now.
gave me. And he's like, do you know what that means? And I'm like, yes, I know what it means.
well, I could tell some of the kids in the audience were not up on their own slang, so
True.
they did not. They were kind of like clueless on certain words. And even I, when I went to high school, didn't know all the current.
Oh no.
You only know a few of them that you use within your little clique, your little group. But it was still a lot of fun because so many people in the audience reacted like crazy. So that was.
Oh, Edward.
Thank you, Edward. Thank you. We like that good news. Well,
Yes.
that is probably going to be a good. We're a little bit over an hour. We gotta fly here.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful. I'm glad that we
This was
tackled
fun.
a
Yes.
tough subject, but with
Yeah.
laughter as well. So
Yes.
thank you, everybody, and thank you, ladies. You're wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye for
Everybody have a beautiful night. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.